Hello, I'm Nick Simon from Nottingham. Something earth-shattering has happened. Something absolutely seismic that's going to change the world since the 1st of October, just a couple of weeks ago, and today, Sunday the 19th of October 2025, we've seen the launch of the BSV Teranode. Now, I imagine that 99.9% of you have not heard of the BSV Teranode, but I'm going to give you an example of something that happened a few years ago, which was very similar and with a similar impact. Before the internet was invented and launched, if I'd said the word internet, most of you wouldn't have known what was meant by the internet, because it hadn't yet been launched. The BSV Teranode will have a similar impact on the world than the internet. And because it's only just been launched, nobody's heard of it, but the impact is going to be incredible. And what the BSV Teranode will do is it will completely eradicate the need for central bank digital currencies, which I think is something that we all fear, we all don't trust, we all don't like the idea of. Well, with BSV Teranode, there will be no need for central bank digital currencies, and there will be totally free financial transactions for the whole world. So I'm going to first show you a diagram. Here it is, no fancy tech stuff here. I'm just holding up this diagram, and I'm going to hold it up for a few seconds because I'm going to give you the opportunity to screenshot it. If you'd like to screenshot this diagram, I am going to explain this diagram fully in a few seconds. It's quite a simplistic diagram, but it is very important for the subject. So I'm going to explain this diagram, but I'm just holding it up in case you'd like to screenshot it. Right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so before I can explain the BSV Teranode, I first have to explain BSV. Bitcoin started, the original protocol Bitcoin started in 2009. But in 2017, they forked it. This was called SegWit. And I believe it was done for reasons that were not good. The central banks were frightened to death of Bitcoin because they couldn't control it. So they tampered with it. And the tamper was called SegWit in 2017. They made it into something that they could control, and they stole the ticker symbol BTC. So BTC is not Bitcoin. BTC has been forked off. BTC is fake Bitcoin. Now, this is the Bitcoin that you've heard of. Today's value of BTC is approximately £80,513.22 per coin. So it's the very, very famous Bitcoin that you've all heard of, BTC. But it is not, remember this, it is not genuine Bitcoin. It's been forked. A year later, in 2018, they again forked the original Bitcoin protocol. This time to BCH. This is Bitcoin Cash. So once again, Bitcoin Cash has been forked. It's been tampered with. It is not the original Bitcoin. So what then happened to the original Bitcoin? Well, the original Bitcoin carried on regardless. It charged on its merry way. And the original Bitcoin is called BSV. Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, BSV. So I don't need the diagram anymore. Remember that in your mind if you can. BSV is the original Bitcoin. Now, a minute ago, I told you that BTC, which was forked, currently is valued at £80,513.22 approximately in sterling per coin. Now, BSV, the original, the genuine, the authentic Bitcoin that can trace its way back to its own original digital signature, is currently valued, BSV, at approximately £16.66 per coin. Yes, unbelievably, just £16.66 per coin. Now, what I've just said to you, you may find incredibly difficult to believe. This super expensive BTC Bitcoin is not the real Bitcoin. So how do I prove that? Well, I can do better than prove it. I can give you the opportunity for you to check it and test it yourself. So basically, from its original digital signature, every Bitcoin had with it, and on every Bitcoin transaction you can see, every Bitcoin had with it a legacy address. Now, the legacy address is a long list of numbers and letters, and every Bitcoin genuine transaction from 2009, the legacy address started with the number 1 for obvious reasons. If the legacy address doesn't start with the number 1, it is not the original Bitcoin. Now, every time you look at a Bitcoin transaction, you can see the legacy address. So if you look at any Bitcoin transaction from 2009 onwards, you will see a legacy address that starts with the number 1. That is until we get to 2017, where the legacy address of the forked Bitcoin suddenly becomes the number 3. The reason why it's the number 3 is because they could not access the original legacy address starting with the number 1. They could not access it when they forked it, SegWit. And because they could not access it, Bitcoin BTC, worth all that money, has no access to its original digital signature, which is what gives it its intrinsic value. So Bitcoin BTC is not the real Bitcoin. Bitcoin BTC is effectively a con. It's effectively worthless, as is BCH. Now, BSV Bitcoin, to this day, you can trace back to 2009, or you can look at transactions from yesterday. BSV Bitcoin is still transacted with a legacy address, and that legacy address on every single occasion appears on every single transaction beginning with the number 1. So only BSV Bitcoin is the original Bitcoin. If its legacy address does not begin with the number 1, it is not Bitcoin. So, what of BSV Teranode? What is it? Well, I could talk to you about it for hours if I went into a major technical discussion. But it's easier just to tell you what it does. BSV Teranode is something that the BSV Association in Switzerland have been working on for over 6 years. It's been tested, it works. And it's been launched at the start of October. It is now fully open source, fully on mainnet. BSV Teranode, I still haven't told you the big secret. What does it do? BSV Teranode does this: 1 million transactions per second. I'll say that again: 1 million transactions per second. That is almost infinitely higher than anything else can do on Earth. I'll give you a comparable. Ethereum, one of the other cryptocurrencies, is supposed to be able to do 20,000 transactions per day, and it's one of the fastest transactions in the world, transaction capability in the world. Compare 20,000 transactions a day with Ethereum, with 1 million, and more than 1 million actually, but 1 million transactions per second on the BSV Teranode, and you are only able to access the BSV Teranode via the BSV blockchain, which is very important. We'll come back to that later. Now, what does this mean? 1 million transactions a second. What this basically means is that anybody that needs to do transactions, any organization that needs to do transactions, whether it's a small business or a multinational business, they will be able to do transactions infinitely quicker and therefore almost infinitely cheaper. Therefore, the business case the case is already made. It's essential that they will get themselves onto the BSV Teranode blockchain because it's infinitely faster and it's infinitely cheaper. So who's going to go onto the BSV blockchain? Well, many businesses to start with, but adoption, as they call it. Obvious examples, because the transaction time is so much faster and so much almost infinitely cheaper. Obvious examples will be companies like Visa, companies like Mastercard, companies, imagine Apple, when you're backing up your iPhone onto the cloud, all those almost infinite number of transactions. Imagine how many transactions there are in that process. Well, Apple will have to go on the BSV Teranode in order to access 1 million transactions per second. There will be no choice. They will just have to go on to BSV Teranode. Now, BSV Teranode and the BSV blockchain is totally free from central bank government digital control. It is the original protocol Bitcoin, and it's now gone live, and people will be adopting it. Very big organizations like, I suggest, Mastercard, Visa, Apple, and so on. I suggest that they will all adopt it very soon. Now, I'm not giving any financial advice, and I'm not a financial advisor. That is not the purpose of this video. But I will just say this. The BSV coin currently is, as I said, around £16.66 per coin. Now, when the BSV Teranode is adopted by people like organizations like Visa, organizations like Mastercard, organizations like Apple, and they will have to adopt it within the next 6 months because of 1 million proven transactions per second. What do you think is going to happen to the price of BSV, currently £16.66 per coin? Obviously, and I'm not giving financial advice, but obviously the price is going to rocket exponentially, absolutely exponentially beyond anything that's ever been witnessed. That price of BSV is going to rocket. Now, how do you buy BSV? I'm going to explain it. I'm not suggesting you buy it, it's your own choice, but please look into it in detail. I'm going to explain how you buy it, and it's actually very simple. So what you do is you download Orange Gateway. That's Orange Gateway. Orange Gateway is a crypto exchange. You'll have heard of similar ones like Binance, like Coinbase, like Crypto.com, but they do not offer BSV. The only one that I know that offers BSV is Orange Gateway, which is an Icelandic crypto exchange. You can download it for free. When you've downloaded it for free, you send some money to it. So the first time I sent money to it, because I've bought a lot of BSV, but the first time I sent some money to Orange Gateway, I sent £200. And how I did it, quite simply, was I had £200 in my UK bank account, and I sent it via international transaction to Orange Gateway, which you can do easily. Now, it takes about 2 days, and after about 2 days, you will see the £200, less a small fee. There's a small fee, about £3.50 or something like that for the transaction. So you'll see like £196.30 or something like that. You'll see it on Orange Gateway in your GBP Sterling wallet. All you do then is you go onto your GBP Sterling wallet and you click trade, and a box will come up, and at the top it says BSV and at the bottom it says GBP. And there's two opposing arrows in a little space in the center. So you click on those arrows, which reverses them so that it says GBP at the top, BSV at the bottom. So it's going from GBP to BSV. You click all and you click the transaction box, and it just instantly changes your £197 or whatever it was, instantly becomes BSV. So you would have with the £200, you would have, I think, just over 14 BSV coins. just over 14 coins for £200. Now, when BSV Teranode is fully adopted and taken on by the Visas, the Mastercards, the Apple of this world, that price is going to be, I think, many thousands of pounds per coin. So it's absolutely crazy mad not to buy BSV now on Orange Gateway, but I am not a financial advisor. I'm just telling you what I believe is going to happen. There's a huge amount of evidence for the fact that this is going to happen. The time is now to buy yourself some BSV if you want to be very wealthy in the future. But the BSV Teranode is much bigger than me and you making money. The BSV Teranode will be the way that all transactions on the planet are done going forward, and it is totally and utterly free from central bank control. There will be no need for central bank government-backed sinister digital currencies. We will have financial freedom, total financial freedom, with BSV Teranode, which is only available on the BSV blockchain. So if I was you, I'd download Orange Gateway straight away for free and buy yourself some BSV. If you've enjoyed this video, my name's Nick Simon from Nottingham. Please kindly tick subscribe and tick like. That would be really much appreciated. Subscribing to the channel is absolutely free. If you can please then share it far and wide on social media, repost it on X, share it on Facebook and all the other socials that you've got. I've been Nick Simon from Nottingham. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.